And so on to night 2, where I think there's quite a few big matches as well. We've got Oba, Femi, Brock, for example. We've got Finn and Dom. We've got the ladder match for the Intercontinental title. We've got Jade and Rhea, and we've also got Punk and Roman. So yeah, I think, there's quite an even spread, but I think night 2 looks like the more heavyweight clash focused, or maybe it's just me. But anyway, who do I think is going to win? Let's get into it. Oba, Femi versus Brock Lesnar in a giant match, I guess. Giant versus giant match. They've confirmed this is probably gonna open night 2. So it's gonna be huge. I think this is a big show of faith in Oba Femi. I think he's earned that because look at his reactions already within just 2 or 3 months on the main roster. Crazy that by the way, for a company that people accuse of not being able to build new stars, this card is full of lots of new stars all over the place. But nevertheless, we'll get off that topic because the internet will shout at me. Oba Femi, I think, is going to win this match by hook or by crook. Now, I think the fact it's opening tells me that he's going to win because we've seen it before with Brock Lesnar when he opens WrestleMania. But I think Oba Femi winning would be huge. Huge for Oba. Massive for Lesnar to lose as well to Oba Femi in what is potentially his last year in wrestling. We've heard that for a while, but it does feel like the noises we're hearing, he's not long for this business anymore. And losing to Oba, crowning him the new Goliath of WWE, the new unpredictable, whatever you want to call him. I think massive for Oba. And yeah, I can see this being look, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either Brock can be bothered or Brock can't be bothered. I am going to hope Brock can be bothered. He seems really enthused by this feud so far from the Raws we've seen him collide with Oba. And so I'm going to predict Oba Femi wins and Brock actually tries to make Oba look like a superstar. There you go figure. The showpiece WrestleMania ladder match. Currently, it stands as Penta, the Intercontinental Champion, defending the belt in a ladder match against Dragon Lee, Rusev, Rey Mysterio, Javon Evans, and JD McDonough. A very random assortment of bodies there. I know Penta retained his championship at AAA last night. So yeah, that's it. I personally would have added Vikingo. I'd have added a bunch of the Luchas from AAA as well. I'd have thrown in a whole bunch of people in this match, but 6 is fine. I think there's 2 options that are outstanding here that are probably going to win the belt. I think either Penta's going to retain, which I think is the most likely outcome. Be a huge win for Penta, who's super popular. Yeah, he's ridiculously popular and validly so as well. But I can see Javon Evans picking up the belt as well because again, it's a guy that's on the up, super popular. I think it may be too early for him. That would be my only pause for thought. But I can see them putting the belt on him and just seeing how he gets on within the first month, seeing if his shirt sales go up and stuff. That's sort of what they do with the Intercontinental title, really. But I think my gut is telling me that Penta's going to retain somehow, some way. And there'll be lots of crazy lucha spots. JD McDonough is not without his crazy spot fest as well. I think Javon has got obviously the makings of... the random one in there is Rusev. I don't know whether he just was like, well, he's going to be really annoyed if he's left off the card, so we've got to put him in somewhere. But yeah, Rusev is in this match. He does look like... I'm looking at the poster now. He does look like the odd one out of all the other guys in the match. Weirdly, but... nevertheless, he's in there, and I think he probably could add some value. I don't want to dismiss Rusev because, yeah, it's nothing. There's not a lot to hate there. It's a random lineup here. But yeah, I'm going to pick Penta. Penta for the win. Finn Balor versus Dominik Mysterio, Dirty Dom. Probably the match from a personal point of view I'm looking forward to the most because I'm a big fan of Judgment Day. I'm a big fan of Finn Balor. I like Dom enough, but I think this is arguably the match that's had the most long-term build, if you think about it. 4 years worth of Judgment Day, most of which have included Finn, most of which have included Dom. And the story they're telling is that, you know, Finn's obviously trained Dominik to be the nasty SOB that he is today, and Dom turned on Finn, etc., etc. We seemingly are going to get the Demon back as well from all the marketing and all the hints and things we're hearing from the match. So, in which case, it's 100% a Finn Balor win. It's 100%. I know they don't eulogize the Demon, and I wonder how Triple H was able to convince Finn to don the Demon paint again, because we only heard recently on the Cody podcast that he wasn't keen on doing the Demon whatsoever. I don't know if there was a caveat in there, if it was on his terms. It feels like it's on his terms that the Demon's being brought out for just an enemy, not so that he can gain a win, but because he deserves the Demon, because he's wronged Finn so highly. Look, either way, silly bollocks aside, I think Finn Balor is going to win this, because I think it is going to set Finn Balor on the way to being potential World Championship contender. And I say potential because I'm always doing so with a pause for thought, thinking, well, realistically they're not going to make him a world contender, although he should be. I think Finn Balor is going to start to flirt around the world title again. I think spring and summertime. I think the fans are ready for that. I think the company's ready for that. I think everyone's ready for a Finn Balor potential, at least world title contendership. Especially on Raw, I think there is interesting matches you could have up and down the card with Finn Balor, with Seth Rollins, with Gunther, with who else is there? The Braun Breaker when he comes back. There's LA Knight. There's loads of people on Raw that he could face and feud with, either for the world title or in and around the upper mid card to world title level. I think coming out of Mania, it's going to be Finn Balor all the way. Trick Willie Williams versus Sami Zayn for the United States Championship. It's been one of the oddest builds to a match this year in a sea of odd builds for WrestleMania this year. Bizarre. I mean, I can't believe Carmelo Hayes isn't in the match, but I sort of understand that actually Carmelo Hayes has done quite a good job building up an organic wave of fan base or momentum behind him, and to put him against Trick, which would have been a great match for those of us who actually watch NXT. Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams at WrestleMania for the United States Championship would have been good, but I think they don't want the crowd to pick one or the other, because I think both have done quite well gaining organic fan bases. Sami, they're less fussed on it clearly now. They've sort of given up on Sami Zayn being the power of the people sort of champion as he was a few months ago. The crowd's definitely turned on Sami. They've definitely soured on Sami without a shadow of a doubt. So they're playing into it, which you could argue is a good booking philosophy. You let the crowd pick. But yeah, I mean, Trick Williams is going to be accompanied by Lil Yachty. Sorry, I'm nearly 40 years old. I have no idea who the hell that guy is. He's actually quite annoying on TV, if I'm honest, as well. And yet another celebrity inserted into a match, but we'll park that for one side. Here's the thing. If the crowd is cheering for Trick Williams, as we expect they probably will, is having the celebrity helping him out at ringside really a clever move, or will the fans not really care? That's the thing. Is the hate towards Sami Zayn real enough for it to really go against potentially the finish of this match? Because I can't see Sami winning. The only way he's going to win is if he cheats at WrestleMania, or maybe even if they're clever, you know, which they are, of course. But this is my idea. Lil Yachty turns on Trick Willie. Actually no, that'd be a terrible idea thinking about it. The fans would absolutely loathe that and really actually just blame the company rather than the celebrity themselves. We don't want another Travis Scott situation. Do you know what? Here's the moral of the lesson. Keep the celebrities out of the matches. That would be a great idea. But we're going to see him accompany at least Trick Willie to ringside. I think Trick's going to pick the belt up somehow, some way. I think they might just have it. I mean, they should just do a clean match. Trick wins clean. Lil Yachty is ringside to clap. And maybe announce the winner. I don't know. But there you go. I think Trick Willie's going to pick up the belt, and Sami Zayn will move on with his heel life. Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. This match has been built all over the place. I think Rhea obviously won the Elimination Chamber. It's hard to ignore what could have been with this match, because clearly they thought Bianca Belair was going to be in this spot. She was going to be facing Jade Cargill in a potential fans' dream match that I've seen vaunted for years and years and years. And I think probably the build would have been way more interesting as well, because I think Bianca and Jade have a pre-existing relationship. I think they would have dug the opportunity to really get into the weeds of, you know, their roads to where they are now. Whereas this build has been full of potential off-screen drama, which is probably not altogether real. But then again, is it wise to be using the accusation of backstage politica in order to further a storyline with arguably your most popular woman on the roster? You know what I mean? It's a weird dynamic they've cultivated here. So maybe it is real. Maybe Jade went into business for herself and has rightly been condemned by most people. But you tend to think most people backstage don't just tweet off their own back. They do get permission to talk about the business backstage before they are allowed to do so. Well, maybe. Then you go. Then you see Pat McAfee shooting his mouth off. Maybe not. I don't know. It's all up in the air this year at WrestleMania for various different reasons. Anyway, back to the match. I think it's been an odd build, like I said. Rhea doesn't seem happy in this match. I've got to be honest. I don't know her personally, obviously, but at the same time, she does not look happy to be a part of this match necessarily, or certainly a part of this feud. I think she said it as well. She was much more happier tagging with EO. The plan was they were going to travel together and enjoy their WrestleMania season together. Because they were digging life as a tag team. They were fully prepared to defend the belts at WrestleMania. I could see them slotted into that big tag match 4-way that they've got going on. And they were definitely inserted as such 2 months ago. So that things have definitely changed in that regard. So it is what it is. I think I can't see Rhea winning, which is silly really, because she's the better competitor. She's the bigger star. She's the better wrestler. Sorry, Jade Cargill fans, but she is. And I don't know if they want to reward the behaviour that Jade has demonstrated, either deliberately or accidentally or whatever you want to call it, by giving her the win at Mania. However, TKO loves their Jade Cargill. They're clearly talking to her about movie roles. I know she's got a couple lined up. The only that's lead me on to another point is whether she's taking any time off to do that filming. I know Cody didn't drop the belt to do his, but I don't know. Here's the thing. I think that it is interesting. I'm going to pick Jade to win. Jade's going to retain the belt somehow, some way, because I don't I don't know if Rhea is wanting that level of, you know what I mean? I don't know if Rhea wants to. Of course, Rhea wants a world championship. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure Rhea wants to have to deal with the ramifications of like, oh, I've got to go to SmackDown now. My life's been turned upside down. I've got to go to a new roster. I've got to do, you know, maybe she doesn't. Maybe she does. I don't know. But I predict, I think by hook or by crook, you got Michin, you've got whatever B-Fab. Combating Io Sky. I think Asuka possibly could even get involved to really double down and make sure that Rhea doesn't become champion, because, you know, Asuka's doing nothing else at WrestleMania, which is insane. But there we go. I'm going to pick Jade Cargill to somehow, some way, by hook or by crook, retain the women's championship at WrestleMania and give her second straight WrestleMania win. There you go. Well, CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, the main event of main events this year at WrestleMania 42, and there's a lot going into this. People are questioning the build and so forth. I think actually the build's been quite interesting for the most part, and it's Punk and Roman was the match people were clamoring for last year. I'm going to go with a Punk win. No, none of the evidence is pointing to Punk winning, but something tells me, my heart of hearts is telling me Punk's going to win. I've got no evidence to back this up. I've got no inkling as to why I'm leaning that way. I just think, maybe for hopeful reasons, the more interesting winner would be CM Punk. I don't know how, maybe shenanigans are involved. It is more interesting coming out of WrestleMania with Punk as the champion still, having defeated Roman Reigns. I'm not even going to get into the fact Roman's probably going to be off now until SummerSlam. That's probably realistically why I'm picking it, but I think thematically and storyline wise, isn't it more interesting if Punk wins? Punk has the belt going into potential feuds against, over Femi's hanging around now. We've got potentially Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Gunther, all of which are more interesting if he's the champion. If Roman's the champion, he sort of picks and chooses when he is there anyway. You kind of need... I just think the days are done where we can have the part-time Roman Reigns champion. Yes, he's a big name, but I think, as is CM Punk, I'm picking Punk for no reason whatsoever other than I hope he does win because it would be more interesting coming out of WrestleMania. That's just a personal preference. I understand if people disagree with that, but that's what I'm picking. And I think, yes, Roman Reigns is going to lose in the main event at WrestleMania. I don't know if the Usos are going to turn on him. I don't know if there are going to be shenanigans involved in terms of, I don't know, AJ Styles helping Punk out. I don't know any of this. I've never heard that, by the way. That's just something that came into my head. But but I think CM Punk is walking out of WrestleMania still World Heavyweight Champion, and I think will carry the belt maybe through the summer, but at least he'll have interesting feuds and interesting storylines to go into post Roman Reigns. That's what I'm picking, and watch me be wrong the Monday after WrestleMania. And that's your lot. Predictions done, in the books. Watch me be wrong the Raw after Mania, but nevertheless, I'm looking forward to the show. I think takeover rules are probably in effect here, where the build is kind of meh, and then the matches really deliver on the PLE. Hoping that's going to be the case this year, and put your best foot forward. I think, celebrities aside, I think the matches on paper are pretty good, pretty decent. I think we've got a good card going into Mania, so let's hope they deliver. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much for watching, listening, subscribing. It really does help the channel going forward. And thank you very much as well for partaking and listening to my rants and rambles about the WrestleMania builds and so forth, and who I think is going to win. It's just a bit of fun. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and subscribing, and I'll speak to you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.